Everyone, so we're back with another scary story collab. This time we're gonna be doing Home Alone stories, so enjoy the video.
Part 1. Knock knock. Who's there?
Okay, so my parents went out to a party. I lied and told them I was sick, so I didn't have to go. Now, before I continue with this story, I want you to everyone know that I'm only 16. At the time of this story took place, I was 14. So, let's get to the meat. I was home alone, playing Xbox, watching movies, eating popcorn, typical stuff you do when you're home alone. Eventually I turned off all the lights and I started listening to Corpse Husband, one of my favorite narrators. Then I get a knock on my wall, like somebody's on the other side and just pounding. I kind of just dismissed it, some kind of animal. I really didn't want to think about that because every human, some people anyway, try to dismiss the little things and try making it seem like it's not so bad. I was very mistaken. Eventually, I stopped watching Corpse Husband, Home Alone stories. Ha ha ha. Ironic. Anyway, then I started listening to nice, relaxing music. Now, my house is soundproof because little incidents we had a while back and we just had soundproof walls installed. But trust me, that took up forever. But anyway. And we also have tinted windows. That'll come in use later in the story. So, eventually I started listening to some music to try to wind down and go to sleep. And then it sounded like somebody running into the wall, like a big kaboom. But it didn't sound like an animal. And that's when I knew somebody was outside my wall. Now I didn't want to do anything because I know my house is soundproof, but there still are ways you can hear it through soundproof walls, and I didn't want to make a sudden movement. I thought I could make it to the kitchen and get the house phone, my knife, and maybe sneak upstairs and get my dad's shotgun that he got for New Year's Eve. And I eventually thought that, it stopped because I was upstairs waiting for some kind of noise or a break-in. I got my shotgun loaded, or my dad's shotgun in this case. Everything stopped. And then I heard a car turn on. Then I drove off. A night later, my parents had to go out again. I know. They had to go out again, and I took the same procedure. Listen to Corpse Husband, watch movies, popcorn, Xbox, listen to music. And the same thing happened again, but this time I kept my dad's shotguns next to me. I made sure they were loaded, and I was good that night. You know why? Because I heard it again. This time it was pounding, and it came from and it was going from the kitchen all the way to the living room. Now mention, my parents are very rich, so we live in a very big house, and going from the living room to the kitchen, it's a walk. So whoever this guy or gal was trying to mess with me. No, I don't take kindly to this stuff. So, I went to my window. I opened it. Not open the window, the shades. Now the man I saw was very tall, raggedy hair. Seemed like he was homeless. Torn up suit, very tall man. But you couldn't see in, but he was just staring through the window. He didn't notice me. But I almost went to jail this night. I took my shotgun. I fired it through the window. I missed the man. I missed the man by a millimeter. Somehow. Never used a shotgun before. I fired. The man ran. Then he got in his car, drove off, and came back a little bit later. I called my parents to tell them what happened. They came home, but to a surprise, they found the man, hunting in our shed. We had to do a full-lawn check. We called the police. My dad kept them down. He had a knife, a gun that didn't have ammo, duct tape in a garbage bag. God knows what would happen if we didn't do our lawn check and I didn't have my shotgun.
Part 2. The deranged officer.
Now, I'm not going to go into full detail with this story because I am frightened. But anyway, my parents went out, and at the time this story took place, I was 18. Now I know what not to do and what to do at home. But anyway, I was home alone watching movies. Typically, I was watching some old movies from like the 1980s, like Titanic, and other movies that were great, like Old West, futuristic, sci-fi, Back to the Future, just the movies that were the great ones back in the day, superior to the movies you see now. But anyway, I'm sitting, enjoying myself, having a cup of tea. Just kidding, I don't drink tea. Having a cup of coffee, enjoying myself. I forgot what movie I was watching, but anyway, that's not important. I get a knock at my door. I ask who it is, and I hear,
Hello, this is the police.
and I go, why are you here?
Well, a murder case just went on, and apparently the family used to live here, and we wanted to, get some evidence.
And then I said, we're the only family that lived here. Are you sure you got the right house?
Yeah, you're not the only ones that lived here, trust me, I've been around here before.
And then I went, no you haven't. This is a brand new house that was just built.
Dude, this house has been here for about 7 years.
No it hasn't. We were here for 2 years. This house has been in construction for about 7 years. You might be confused with another house.
No, I'm not, kid, let me in.
Now that startled me. I knew this officer wasn't a real officer. I knew it was some guy mimicking to be an officer because officers do not act like this. Now I got the phone and I got a kitchen knife. I'm ready to stab this mother beeper. I'm ready. I stand right next to that door and I'm ready. He's pounding full force, running into it full force like a quarterback, trying to tackle the other teams. Then it just stopped. And then a gunshot comes right through my door. I panicked. I dropped everything. I froze. I'm frozen. And then the gun gets jammed. You can hear the man cursing at the gun to start working again. Then eventually, I looked up through the peephole, and he was struggling with that gun. Eventually, he looked in the hole of the gun where the bullet comes out, and it fired. The man died. The deranged officer died since his gun was jammed. His eye went into the hole to see what was jamming it, and it fired. That almost traumatized me. My parents came home and we moved out a week later. Ever since, weird things have been happening. Like men just coming up to our house, just random civilians saying the same thing. They're the police officer. And I don't know if these people were in a group and one of their members died. But all I'm saying now, I am scared and frightened and traumatized to this day.